Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a shaky hand cam explanation of just how ridiculous you can push a Pico headset with regards to PC VR. So in my case, I do a bit of sim racing. I've had to sacrifice the old extruded rig just for space issues. Obviously it's gone fold up, got the car seat, I've got a frame, I connect with both, and then I push it onto my desk. Normally it's on the DisplayPort cable headset just because I'm a snob, and I don't have to worry about the battery life and stuff, or any latency or compression or the rest of it. But I am tied to my desk, and that gets a bit annoying. And I've had it a few times where I've manually lugged this up into the shed, lugged the PC up into the shed and done it that way, but it's just a pain in the ass. What I've done now is create a solution that I can have this in the shed with absolutely no performance loss whatsoever. And I'm not using my PC. I'm not moving it at all. It's staying there. So I'm going to explain this as best as I can. So on the new 5.32 updates for Pico 4, you should have had a USB on the go setting in the lab settings, which is a powered USB on the go. Normally USB on the go, you connect your USB device, it appears in your headset, and it sort of it sips a little bit of power. That's fine. But if you've got like a mechanical drive or something, or a load of devices by a hub that's not powered, it won't power that. So they've enabled a setting that allows you to power devices that are connected. That's not ideal, because obviously if you've just got your devices connected and no charge going into that, then obviously you're taking all the battery away from your headset. But in my situation, this is doing me an absolute wonder. So what I'm going to try explain here is just what the hell's going on. To cut a long story short, I'm using virtual desktop, and I'm using a piece of software called Virtual Here, which, as you can see, has a fanatec wheel, the Arduino handbrake, and a G27 shifter connected to the PC. But there's no USB cable going from the wheel to the PC. I've only got a wire going up to my headset and the power cable for the wheel. And we're back. A bit of movie magic. I had to get a drink, my throat's going. So what we've got is all of the devices connected to my computer using Virtual Here, running in the background on Pico, because again, Pico are awesome, they allow that. So it's very easy to set up. Virtual Here is a bit of a pain in the ass. It's linked per device, so if you factory reset and it changes the serial number, you need to contact the developer. It's a pain in the ass, but once it's all set up and working, it means you can have one cable going into your headset and be as far away as possible from your router. You don't necessarily need to be in the same room as your router anymore. There is still the situation you can put the second router where you want and use wireless, but why would you? I mean, with Picos, the Ethernet works. So the Ethernet driver is enabled on Picos, and Virtual Desktop can use that. It's not an actual feature that's supported by Virtual Desktop, but it works. So that means basically this very long Ethernet cable that I've got doesn't necessarily have to be connected to the same PC, the same router that's connected to the PC like you normally would use Virtual Desktop. This can be on my first router downstairs because it's on the same network. I'm going to have that all the way up to the shed or the garage. That basically gives me full performance, no degradation of the signal or whatever, full performance of Virtual Desktop, with none of the loss that you get over wireless at long distances. So that's awesome. So that solved my problem with that. And I hope Pico keeps that in a headset, because Oculus, for some bizarre reason, decided to strip it out of their headsets. So that allows, obviously, this setup to work. And with the devices connected over your local network, you get about 2 or 3 milliseconds of latency for the actual USB devices using the Ethernet cable, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's way better than you're ever going to get out of the Virtual Desktop setup anyway, so you're not going to notice anything playing your games. So with this setup, I've got the one cable, which is an extension, USB-C male to USB-C female, 2 meter extension, so it'll give you plenty of space to sort out all your wires and put your wires where you want to go. And what I've done here, you don't strictly need this, you can change the hub, but I'll explain why I've got this now. This is going into the USB-C hub or dock, whatever you want to call it. It's got PD charge in, which is very important. That's obviously why I can power all of this and not crap itself. It's got a USB 3 port, it's got a HDMI out and VGA. It's also got 3.5 audio jack, but I can't get that to work for whatever reason. But with this, normally when you move your sim rig or whatever virtual desktop is fine for the person wearing a headset, but if you've got this set up as a social thing, I can move this into my shed when people come around for a barbecue or something. You want to see the screen. You don't obviously want, like, you can use like a Steam Link over your network if you can, if you're going to put a second router up there. But in the Pico headsets, you can actually output your screen mirror by HDMI, or even a display port. It's Type C video out, basically. So that's awesome. And in previous videos I've shown, obviously, I can do HDMI into Android devices. So you could actually have a tablet set up with a HDMI going into a capture card, and then into a tablet. So that's awesome. So that gives you a portable screen, basically, that you can see what's going on with the headset. Continuing on here, so basically the PD charge is going in, the USB cables obviously go into the headset, and the USB port, I've actually got this going into a hub because this dock doesn't have the Ethernet port. So I'm using just a very cheap, this is about £15, that's probably £10. I already had these, I haven't bought anything new. So it's going into a 4-port hub with gigabit Ethernet, or gigabit Ethernet. I haven't actually determined if it's actually gigabit or not yet. But basically that allows me to connect an Ethernet cable, again, being as far away as possible from the PC, as much as the spec of the cable allows, whether it's Cat 5e or Cat 6. And that PD charge is going off, obviously, into the walls. Again, nothing connected to the PC as such. So yeah, that is then going up to, and that's one cable here. You could populate all of these. It's the same deal, but because this wheel stand, I've obviously got set up to go under my desk. It's already cable managed, or don't look too closely, cable managed. So I've got one cable terminated into USB, and that's going into a second hub, which is supposed to be powered. And normally on the PC, that's not a problem. I connect it to a decent USB port, and it gets enough power for all the devices. But in this situation, just going straight into the headset normally, it wouldn't work. It would just crap out. So that's where the update for the high power on the go mode is helping out, because it's feeding a bit of power back in, as ridiculous as that looks, enough to keep all the devices connected. And I've got my PD charge going in as well. So the headset is not draining the battery, and it's powering all the devices that I connect to it. So again, this is as ridiculous as it looks. So I've got the USB adapter for this Logitech shifter, because it's not a Logitech wheel. I've got the Fanatec CSL Elite with the V3 pedals. Pedals are wired into the wheel itself, so that connects as one device. And then I've got the Arduino DIY handbrake. And all of this, again, is working absolutely perfectly, even right now over wireless, because I'm in the same room, to the PC. So with virtual desktop, again, you could use Streaming Assistant. I just wouldn't. You get better visuals at the moment over virtual desktop, and more importantly, it's very easy to get back to your desktop. It's just 2 clicks, you get into desktop mode, you've got a mouse. And again, with this setup, this extra port I've got on the setup here, I've only got the 3 racing devices connected. The 4th port is normally a camera for when I do live streams, not that I do them much very often. So that 4th port, I'm actually going to connect a USB keyboard and a keyboard or mouse combo. So I've even got that benefit of being as far away from the PC as possible, but actually still having full use case. So it's absolutely ridiculous. It is a very stupid setup, but if you are using a Pico 4 for sim racing, why would you not do this? So you can have it as far away as possible. Again, get yourself a USB keyboard. Again, it's not tethered to your Bluetooth on the PC, so you don't need the PC anywhere near you. Everything is going over the network, and it goes over by virtual here. And again, once you've got the app running and all your devices connected, sorry for the shaky hand cam, it works just fine. It's in sleep mode, it's fine, it's still connected. I can fire up VD and I can do some races. Again, I'll do a bit in the headset to show you, because in VD I can go back to the desktop, show it's all still connected, and I'll do a bit. I'm not going to put my car seat into the setup. I'll do a bit here, which is a very crappy driving position, but I'll show you I can do a stage on Dirt Rally. If Dirt Rally behaves, I think I had GeForce experience still, because virtual desktop was going a bit cross-eyed. So let's give it a go. Yeah, this is a very ridiculous use case, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't do this. So Pico, please keep the Ethernet driver enabled, for fuck's sake. Just don't take that away. That is absolutely awesome. And make it work on your own setup as well, because that's just going to be incredible. So as much as I am a DisplayPort snob, the idea of being able to move my sim rig away, not have noise complaints because everything goes through the floor, as much as I've tried to dampen everything, and also I'm not just tethered into this, and yeah, I just don't need to be at my desk. I don't really want to sit at my desk all day. I don't want to fart about with this in the same room. So yeah, it just gets out of the way, and I can have a social gathering without having to worry about all my gear here, open to bloody spilled drinks and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's a really cool setup. I'll just do a bit of recording in headset and show you. I'm going to do it over wireless, which is obviously testing the latency. But again, with the wired connection, it's 2 or 3 milliseconds. It makes no difference because VD uses, even over the cable, you're going to have more latency through that anyway. So it's awesome. It works perfect. Okay guys, I'm going to show the wireless situation first. So if I take this off, you can see the Ethernet cable is disconnected. I will be testing with this Ethernet cable because the long one that I showed in the video is just junk. It's gone straight in the bin. So I'm going to test with this one and sit in the same place, power brick, and basically power to the wall for the PD charge, and then that's it. Everything else is wireless. I'm going to the PC. I don't know what the audio volume is going to be like in the game. Virtual desktop with the eye accommodation mod in Dirt Rally 2 is making me cross-eyed, so I have to close one eye to actually see where I'm going. I obviously lose all depth, and get my racing driver excuses out of the way now. I have a load cell pedal, which is hard enough. I actually need to wear shoes with the sim rig, so I'm going to roll back every time I press the brake, and this is not connected to the frame, so it's moving every which way. But all the devices are synced up, they're all working. I'm on wireless. The latency that you're about to see in virtual desktop here, I have no idea what's going on. I have to keep resetting the streamer app. It's only done it since this recent Pico update, and I can't get 90 Hertz on virtual desktop, so I think something is definitely broken. This will go away as soon as I focus the window on the game. But yeah, hopefully you can see this in recording. It's not great as it is now. So as soon as I sort of click OK, we should be back to some normality. The latency is not fantastic, but you have to remember I'm running godlike Spacewarp disabled HVAC encoder maxed out with whatever settings in game. So I'll put the controllers on my lap. Decoding time is going to be a bit more because of the recording. Actually, I'm going to put the controls over here next to my co-driver, and let's do a little bit. So I'm going to be a bit blind, one-eyed, not putting gears.
60 bumps,
see how far I can get.
into 4 right, 30.
So I will say there's absolutely no discernible latency on the steering wheel. Force feedback is working
Into 3
perfect.
left on cut.
It's incredibly hard to race with one eye closed.
Keep right, 30, overhead left.
So hopefully you can see the performance overlay. I can't even hear the co-driver, and I can't see where I'm going, to be honest. I need to fix the game, but
50.
hopefully the performance overlay shows what's going on.
Into 2 left. Opens 30. 6 left on the crest, 50. Unseen, 2 right.
Okay.
Into 3 left on cut.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to stop because I'm too far away. I can't even reach the pedals anymore because of, like I said, that pedal's solid. That moves forward, I move back. But you can see the performance overlay there. That's the wireless situation. So obviously when I focus the game again, we're normally running sort of a couple of milliseconds, like 5 milliseconds or so on the network latency here. I'm going to change to wired, and I'm going to do this in the same video here. So what I'm going to do is actually exit the game. I'm going to exit VR. So get rid of Steam VR. That'll put me back at the virtual desktop. If I get my window back here, you can see my device is all connected. I'm actually going to quit out of virtual desktop. And I'll keep the recording going here. I'm going to connect in the Ethernet cable. So I'm going to put my Ethernet cable into the cheapy hub. I'll give that a second just to give it itself and grab the IP address and stuff. I can see it flashing there, it's connected. And from here, I'm going to disable the wireless LAN, so I no longer have Wi-Fi. I'm going to do a quick test on the Pico browser just to make sure I've got internet over the cable, and that's okay. So I can now go back. I'll have a quick look at my Windows PC. That's fine. It's still showing all the devices connected on virtual server, virtual here, even though it's not down the bottom here. Close this app there. Just give me a bit more space. Virtual here is still open. Library. Let's go to virtual desktop. And again, this is Wi-Fi. Ethernet with no Wi-Fi. Which I can show that the Wi-Fi is turned off here completely. So we're only on the Ethernet cable. Again, this isn't possible on Oculus. So you can see HVAC here. I don't think it's automatically adjust bitrate is off as well. So we can start virtual desktop, and I'll just give it a quick game on Dirt Rally so you can see the network latency. And again, ignore that massive latency number spikes at the minute. I need to do this. I need to refocus the game. Not sure what's going on with that, but again, I don't actually use virtual desktop for my sim racing stuff, so obviously this Dirt Rally is fine to look at now with the flat screen mode in game, but when I've actually got the what's my pause button on the damn wheel? Give me a second, guys. I don't want to close out on virtual desktop. Alright, focus the window. VR mode. Return the game. There we go. Okay. So yeah, if this game window's not focused, the latency goes absolutely nuts, and I don't know why. So hopefully you can still hear me. I'll just do the usual blah 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 blah. Just time trial, same track. Again, driving's not going to be fantastic. You can see, even though this is a Wi-Fi 5 router, I've now gone to 1200 megabytes per second because it's Ethernet cable. So it's still on godlike. I've got the 1 millisecond network latency. It's just going to be fantastic.
Into 4 right, 30, 1 right long. Opens, 4 right.
Can I blame virtual desktop for that? No, I can't. Let's give it another go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 60 bump, into 4 right, 30, 1 right long. Opens, 4 right, into 3 left on cut, and keep right, 30, open heavy left, 50, slow, 4 right to crest long, tightens 2, into 2 left, opens, 30, 6 left over crest, 50.
Alright, cocked up the handbrake. But you get the idea. The performance is way better. I don't need a Wi-Fi 6 router because they show me absolutely max speed by the Ethernet cable. So again, my driving is awful because I'm back here again. But the Ethernet cable with a Wi-Fi 5 router is giving me 1200 megabytes per second. So, or megabits per second, megabyte, whatever. I forgot what order around it is, but yeah, having an Ethernet cable is fantastic. If you are doing sim racing, it just makes sense doing this because you're not obviously limited by the sort of performance of your router. This could be even just an ISP provided router. It doesn't matter because the Ethernet cable has just got no problems. As I say this, and the network latency goes nuts. But yeah, it's only with the recording going on and the actual window not in focus that I get these stupid numbers on virtual desktop, but in game it's fine. It works really well, and I'm really pleased with this setup.